sir. We gotta get it cracking. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Y'all see the title, y'all see the thumbnail. Yo, this is some crazy times we're living in. There's a lot of stuff going on. Tonight we're going to break down the presidential election. It's 2024, it's a presidential election year. People are wondering what's going on with Trump and Biden. People don't know if Trump will get locked up before the election. People don't know if Biden will have a stroke before the election. We just don't know. There's a whole lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, right? People have questions. And I don't have answers, okay? I've got a prediction, and we're going to break down this prediction. But predictions, this is not prophecy. This is just a prediction. This is something that I could foresee. This is something that I see as a likely scenario, right? So we'll see if it comes to pass or not. But this is something that just hit me recently when I take a look at the field of politics, when I look at the presidential elections, when I see the candidates, Joe Biden, when I see Donald Trump, when I see folks like Vivek Ramaswamy, when I see folks like Cornel West, when I see folks like RFK, when I look at the totality of the circumstances, this is the conclusion I've come to as a likely scenario in 2024. So we're going to break that down. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm seeing a lot of. There's a lot of protests going on around the nation. There's a lot of dissatisfaction with Joe Biden. All right? Especially because of this Israel-Hamas, Israel-Palestine conflict. There's a lot of groups, interested groups, who are dissatisfied and not happy with Joe Biden right now. We see the pro-Palestinians, the pro-Gaza folks, that crowd protesting, saying, Genocide Joe, I'll never vote for Genocide Joe. The youth is not rocking with Joe Biden right now. The youth is not on Joe Biden's side. The black vote. Black folks are dissatisfied with Joe Biden right now. We're on this, the grassroots are calling for reparations. Black folks are calling for reparations. We're calling for a black agenda. We're calling for crime bills. We see that Joe Biden and the Democrats have all this energy to pass the Stop Asian Hate bill. They're just passed legislation to stop and censor speech for people who don't support the Israeli government. But when it comes to us, we have U.S. soldiers getting murdered in their own homes on camera. But we can't get any type of protection, any type of crime bill for us. We can't get a bill to protect us from these trigger-happy race soldiers, right? We can't get reparations. We can't get a anti-black crime bill, hate bill. Nothing for the black community, right? So there's a lot of dissatisfaction all around the board for Joe Biden. What does that mean? What does that translate to? That translates to a lot of people staying home. A lot of people who are Democrats, quote unquote, the Democrats are counting on, the Democratic base, are not supporting Joe Biden because of this Israeli conflict and because of what is seen as a lack of tangibles, right? So a lot of people aren't going to be motivated to go out to the polls. Whereas the Donald Trump crowd, now this is giving them both the benefit of the doubt. This is giving Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt that he lives to see the next election. And this is giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't end up getting locked up. And I think the closer we get to the election, the lower the chances of him getting locked up are. Because the courts are going to be very hesitant to lock up the Republican nominee. That would not be very good as far as our separations of power. The judicial branch locking up the front runner, the Republican front runner in the presidential race? No, they would likely just postpone their ruling until after the election. So the closer we get to the election, the better it is for Donald Trump and his court cases. It's better for Donald Trump. The more he delays those trials, the closer you get to the election, the better and more likely the scenario plays out. So we're already in May, we're moving in towards June. The closer we get, the better it's looking like he will be allowed to run first and foremost. And the closer we get, the higher his chances of winning. Because the dissatisfaction, the level of dissatisfaction against Joe Biden is astronomical right now, especially for an incumbent president. It's crazy. His whole base is turning on, right? So here's the thing. A lot of people who are turning on Joe Biden because of his the way he's handling this Israeli-Palestine conflict, they're not considering the fact that what will come of that, what will come of this decision of, hey, Joe Biden isn't doing what we want him to do. He is genocide Joe. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I'm going to stay home. This is a protest vote. Listen, I'm all for it. I don't vote for Democrats either. I don't vote for the Republicans. I'm a third party voter. So I get it. But here's where the prediction comes in. First of all, I predict that Donald Trump will win re-election in 2024. I predict that the Democrats are going to blame black people. Oh, they didn't come out and vote in numbers we need, because Joe Biden is going to lose. And the pro-Palestine folks who are saying, we didn't want to vote for Joe Biden because he didn't support Palestine, he didn't call for a ceasefire, he didn't do enough. They're going to be disappointed because Donald Trump is going to instigate more war. Now, a lot of people are giving Donald Trump, me being one of them, to be the number one, the only president in the 21st century who has not expanded to a new conflict during his term. Right? George Bush started Iraq and Afghanistan. Obama inherited that and expanded it to Libya and Syria, Sudan. Obama expanded it. Donald Trump inherited from Obama, but he didn't expand any new conflicts. He started to organize the withdrawal from Afghanistan. He did not warmonger as much as the previous two presidents. So people gave Donald Trump a lot of credit as what seems to be the anti-war president. If I'm against these wars, who could I vote for? Clearly, Joe Biden isn't going to help. They were calling him Genocide Joe. He hasn't called in any meaningful way for a ceasefire. Joe Biden isn't responsive to our needs. We're not voting for Joe Biden. Donald Trump, hey, at least he didn't expand any wars when he was in office before. Maybe he can do a better job. But here's the thing. I'm going to play Donald Trump's own words, and y'all check out this clip, because I think a lot of people are ignoring the fact that, one, Donald Trump is hungry for war with Iran. Donald Trump withdrew us from the Iran nuclear deal, mind you. So when I see Donald Trump promising to support Israel, this looks like an opportunity for a second term, meaning there are no re-elections. He has nothing to lose if he wins in 2024. If Donald Trump wins in 2024, he is a lame duck president, meaning he has nothing to lose. And if he's already looking for war with Iran, you put two and two together. Let me play some clips to show you, just to level set you and make sure you see what I'm referring to. Let's start it off here. Matter of fact, let's start it off here. Here, this is what Donald Trump said when he was in office. And people gave him a lot of credit for this. So y'all check this out.
I was saddened by the fate of the Palestinian people. They deserve a far better life. They deserve the chance to achieve their extraordinary potential. Palestinians have been trapped in a cycle of terrorism, poverty, and violence exploited by those seeking to use them as pawns to advance terrorism and extremism.
Mm. So he's saying that the Palestinians, here we see that Donald Trump is saying the Palestinians deserved a better life. That's what he was saying when he was in office, right? He's saying that the Palestinians deserve a better life. He seemed sympathetic, and he said that in front of Benjamin Netanyahu. But fast forward to 2024, after the attack in October of 2023, now this is what Donald Trump is saying. He said his tune has changed up. Listen to what he's saying now.
When I'm back in the White House, the United States will stand with Israel all the way, 100%, without hesitation, without qualification, and without any apology. We're not going to be apologizing. We won't be apologizing.
Okay. Now, are you seeing the change here? There's a bit of a change in his narrative. When he was in office before 2023, we saw that he was kind of poking Iran by pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal. But in front of Benjamin Netanyahu, he was saying, well, hey, the Palestinians deserve a better life. He seemed much more measured. But you fast forward to 2024, it sounds as though Donald Trump is full-throatedly supporting Israel. Donald Trump here is saying what? 100%. They can count on my support 100% without apology to the utmost. Right? So what changed? I suspect, allegedly, there's a possibility that Donald Trump is looking to take this opportunity. He's looking to take this opportunity in the Middle East to provoke a war with Iran. And I think most people are looking at Donald Trump as an alternative, because when he was in office during his first term, he didn't expand any military conflicts. He was looking to pull us out of Afghanistan. He seemed as though he was the more reasonable president. He had more reasonable policies. But things seem to have changed. Things seem to have changed. And I think because people are so focused on what Joe Biden is not doing, I think some people are starting to ignore what Donald Trump will likely do. People are giving Donald Trump a lot more credit just because he's not Joe Biden. It's like, see, I'm a dissident. I don't like the Republicans or the Democrats. So I'm always looking at this thing from like I'm as if I'm an alien. Like I'm seeing it from a different perspective. The people who support Democrats, they look at the world through their lens of, hey, the Republicans are bad, and hey, the Democrats, they're not great, but they're better than the Republicans. The people who are Republicans look at the world like, hey, you know, the Democrats are just terrible. The Republicans aren't great, but they're better than the Democrats. But I'm looking at them both like, y'all are both these parties are corrupt. Both of these parties do not represent my interests. I'm looking at them like I don't want to take part of either one of you. So I feel as though I'm more level-headed. It's easier for me to take a genuine perspective, not one that's biased, as we see. Shout out to Mitch Sledge. He said, I hate that it's 2020 rematch. That's right, man. You know one thing that perplexes me? How is it that in a nation of over 250 million people, this is the best that we have to offer? We all the geniuses, all the high IQ individuals in the richest nation on earth. We've seen that grassroots are able to propel someone's campaign, like, for example, Bernie Sanders. So how is it that there are no people there's no, this is the best we have to offer. Really? Really? There's nobody who can rile up the people, get the support of the people, the grassroots, so that they're not beholden to lobbyists, so that they're not beholden. This is really the best we can do? Apparently. But if this is the best we can do, I think people are sleeping on what is likely to come. Now, before we move on, I want to play this clip one more time. Make sure that y'all caught this. All right. Make sure that y'all get this. Hold on, y'all bear with me. Okay. So this is Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump and where he stands. This is Donald Trump and where he stands on the Israel
When I'm back in
Palestine
the White House, the United States will stand with Israel all the way, 100%, without hesitation, without qualification, and without any apology. We're not going to be apologizing.
all the
Be
way,
apologizing.
100%, without any apologies,
We're not
without
gonna be
qualifications.
We will fully support the Israelis in their mission to ensure that Hamas is decimated and these atrocities will be avenged.
We will fully support the Israelis. We're going to fully support them. This is what he's saying. Meanwhile, the Democratic side is saying, hey, Genocide Joe, we're not going to support Genocide Joe because he's supporting Israel. As if voting for Donald Trump or not voting for either one at all is going to put them in a better situation. Listen to me, man. What I'm saying is, I predict, here's my prediction, and I said it before, here's my prediction. Thumbnail, title of the video, this is the prediction. I predict Donald Trump wins the 2024 election. And I predict Donald Trump uses the conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas to expand it, and war with Iran begins under Donald Trump's administration. That's my prediction. And we'll see. Time will tell if this comes to pass. Time will tell. But I think that that's what's going to happen. Mind you, in October of this year, it was just announced that the BRICS nations will no longer, October of this year, 2024, starting in October of 2024 this year, the BRICS nations will no longer use the US currency for any transactions in oil. That means Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, as well as the addendum states. I believe Ethiopia and Saudi Arabia have also signed on to this proposal and agreed that starting in October of 2024, mind you, that is 1 month before the 2024 election, the BRICS nations will no longer use the US dollar for transactions, for oil transactions. This is economic warfare. This is economic warfare. So what I'm saying is, whether Donald Trump or Joe Biden wins, the policies are pretty much going to be the same. Right now, Joe Biden is supporting Israel, and he's getting the backlash. You see the college protesters, you see the people saying, oh, Genocide Joe. He's getting the backlash for supporting Israel. This is going to cause Joe Biden to lose. Donald Trump will win. And when Donald Trump wins, he's going to do the exact same thing Joe Biden's doing. He's going to continue to support Israel. And not only will he continue to support Israel, I think he's going to be more hawkish, because he already pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal. For Donald Trump, this is an opportunity. Donald Trump already was not a fan of Iran. Barack Obama tried to have some type of peace with Iran. Barack Obama said, hey, I'm going to open up ties with Cuba. Barack Obama said, we're going to get this nuclear deal. He was saying we're going to reduce our own nuclear stockpiles. Barack Obama was actually trying to decrease these wars. He doesn't get a lot of credit. Oh, he doesn't get a lot of credit. Of course, he's the first black president, so he gets a lot of hate. But on the low, he was trying to make the world a safer place. He was. But as soon as Donald Trump got elected, what did he do? Oh, we're going to get out of this nuclear Iran deal. He reneged on it. He reneged on it. Iran was following the deal. Iran was allowing the inspectors to come in. They did everything according to the deal. Donald Trump pulled out. Now what do we see? We see Russia starting to escalate. Russia is changing their nuclear doctrine to allow for a first strike. Have you been checking that? Does that matter? Are you even paying attention to that? The nuclear threats are increasing. And all these college protesters who were calling Genocide Joe out saying, oh, we would never vote for Joe Biden because he's not protecting us, he's supporting Israel. As if the alternative is going to be any better. I'm saying, listen, America, we're in a lose-lose situation here if you are against that Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Your vote doesn't matter. That's my message, really. Your vote does not matter. You think it matters, it doesn't matter. No matter who you vote for, the policy will stay the same. I could really break down that comment. Your vote doesn't matter, especially if you're voting Democrat. They already told you. They already argued in court and won successfully that your vote doesn't matter. They are allowed to select the Democratic candidate. That's what the DNC said. Forget your vote. Forget your vote. The Democratic, the electoral colleges, they are legally allowed to select the candidate regardless of who you vote for. So that's the prediction. Now here's the thing about it. I told y'all I'm not a fan of the Republicans. I'm not a fan of the Democrats. I'm an independent. I'm a third party type of guy. I'm not a big fan of either one of those parties. But if you ask me, the Republicans are slightly better than the Democrats. At least it seems to me the Republicans are more responsive to their base. When I look at the Republicans, I look at the way that the Republicans treated the Tea Party. The Tea Party was pre-MAGA. Now they call them the MAGA crowd. But before they became the MAGA crowd, they were the Tea Party. Back when Obama was in office, they had the Tea Party movement. And the Republican Party was very responsive to the Tea Party. The Republican Party is very responsive to the Christian right. We see them enacting laws that the Christian right supports. Things like the anti-abortion laws. This might seem extreme to some segments of the country, but to the Christian fundamentals, that is reasonable policy, and the Republican Party are acting in what they see as reasonable. The Republican Party is responsive to that bloc. The Republican Party cares about the MAGA crowd. Even though they hate Donald Trump, they will not diss Donald Trump, especially not publicly. Most Republicans won't, because they don't want to lose the MAGA base. A lot of these legacy governors, a lot of these legacy senators, a lot of these legacy Republican congressmen, they hate Donald Trump. Behind closed doors, they can't stand Trump. Trump was not a politician. He was a businessman and an actor. These people, these politicians have been going to law school. They've been working in Congress for decades. This is what they spent their whole life building. Only to have this man who was a TV host come in and the first time he tried, gets to jump to the front of the line and win president, the highest rank in the country. A lot of Republican congressmen do not like Donald Trump. Behind closed doors, they hate him. But they would never diss him publicly because they support the MAGA crowd. They support the Donald Trump supporters. Now, that's more than I can say for the Democrats. The Democrats are not responsible. The Democratic base is us. Black folks, minorities, people of color. It's supposed to be a coalition. A coalition of the quote unquote people of color, the black folks. 98% block voted for Barack Obama. You've got a voting block, a significant voting block that votes in a 94 to 97% the same way. That is the base of the Democratic Party. And is the Democratic Party responsive to this voting block at all? No. That was a rhetorical question. They're not. They've even argued in court that regardless of who you vote for, if you voted for Bernie Sanders, it doesn't matter. They reserve the right to select the candidate who will represent the Democratic Party. They've argued this in court and won. They've shown publicly that your vote is insignificant to them. They want to win, yeah. They want your vote, sure. But will they enact policies to encourage your vote? No. What they're going to do, they're going to point to Republicans and say, hey, we're better than them. Look out for the boogeyman. They're going to try to scare you. So no, I do not like the Democrats. I think that the Republicans are slightly better, but not by much. And you might say, okay, you're dissing the Democrats so much. You're clearly smart enough to know that they're a sham of a party. So why don't you just come over to the Republicans? And here's why. Here's why. And it's not just me. A lot of black folks are feeling this way. A lot of black folks are not happy with the Democratic Party, but we're stuck because the alternative is rocking with people like this.
I too am a fan of yours, so I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory.
And there's this little hoe over here laughing like that's funny. Oh yeah, it's funny. You can't call black Americans articulate.
And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
I agree with everything you were saying, Ann Coulter says, but I still wouldn't vote for you because you're an Indian. Okay. Do you think, and here Vivek Ramaswamy, who was a solid Republican candidate as far as his policies go, he's over here laughing at this stuff. We, as black folks, are we supposed to leave the Democrats and join up with folks like Ann Coulter, who says, oh, I would never vote for you? So if I've got a black candidate who says, yeah, I don't support the Democrats, I'm going to run on the Republican ticket. Someone like Ben Carson. Ben Carson was a heart surgeon, a world famous heart surgeon. Does the Republican respect him as a candidate? No. He's the first person, black or white, to have open heart surgery. Ben Carson. Do the Republicans give him a chance? No. When Donald Trump wins, what do they do with Ben Carson? They put him over HUD. Housing and Urban Development. Oh, he's a black guy. Throw him over HUD. This man is a medical genius. Wouldn't it make some sense to put him over your medical policy? Excuse me. Wouldn't it make sense to put him in a category more appropriate to his skills. But you're gonna put him over housing. Just throw him over. Put him with the urban folks. Housing and urban development. You throw him over there. All right, check. So black Republicans, you black people trying to rock with the Republicans, it's a dead end. Let's check out what Mitch says. He said, I'm extremely centered, and I hate that both sides are now so extreme. My vote literally is the lesser of two evils. You speak the truth. We're very similar in politics. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Every vote is now just the lesser of two evils, and at the end of the day, you're still voting for evil. So who would do that? Who would? If you're voting for the lesser of two evils, who's voting for evil? I mean, Mitch, like, I feel where you're coming, bro, but that's why I say I'm a third party. I'm not voting for either one of them. Because if you're voting for the lesser of two evils, that means you're voting for evil. I'd rather stay home. I'd rather stay home. Nah, I'm not voting for evil today. I got better stuff I can do. If evil ends up getting voted, that's fine, but it's not my fault. I ain't vote for it. Nah, I'm good. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. So the Republicans are a dud, but they're likely, according to my prediction, to win in 2024. And we're going to see if my prediction comes to pass. We're going to see if my prediction comes to pass. Like I said, the closer we get to the elections, the more likely it comes that Donald Trump will win, because the courts will be more likely to delay any rulings. The closer we get to election, the courts aren't going to want to look like they were politically influenced. So they're going to put off their rulings until after the election. The closer we get, the less likely it looks like he will be convicted prior to the election. So they're just going to say, hey, we'll withhold our decision until after the election. Shout out to Mitch Sledge. What's up, bro? Says, that's some smart stuff. Why they play their game? Yeah. Why? I got better things to do, man. But I do encourage voting. Like I said, I just vote third party. I write in someone. Write in like Cornel West. I rock with Cornel West. I think he's not very, of course, I feel like his campaign was trash. He's had a horrible campaign. But as a person, I think his heart's in the right place. I think his policies will be solid. Of the candidates, if you want an anti-war candidate, Cornel West is the only one you've got. Donald Trump has promised to double down and fully support Israel 100% without apology. I just played that clip. Joe Biden is currently supporting Israel 100% without apology. RFK has promised that he would also support Israel. So who is your anti-war candidate? If you're against the war, who should you be voting for? I would say you should go with Cornel West. That's who I'll be voting for. I'll be voting for Cornel West. Will he win? No. Call it a protest vote. But I'm not voting for evil. I'd rather vote for righteousness, and if righteousness loses, well, yeah, that's life. C'est la vie. You know? But hey, that's just how I see it. So again, man, if y'all have been rocking with this video this far, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. If it's your first time watching, do me a personal favor and smash the subscribe button for more content just like this. Dropping content 6 days a week. On Saturdays, we've got our Bible in the News series, so y'all be sure to check that out. On the weekdays, I try to keep it a little more secular, give you some things to talk about. We get into politics, news, current events, hip hop, a whole lot of different conversations on there. So y'all be sure to come on back to hear a perspective you haven't heard before, one that you might find interesting. One time, salute to my boy Mitch Sledge. He was in here rocking with me, some good conversation. I appreciate and read all my comments when I'm on the lives. So if y'all got anything to say, if y'all have any opinions, if I say anything that you feel is wrong, hey, call me out on it, man. I'll read you. You know, I'll read you, give you a salute, and it's all in good faith. I hope I respond to all my comments. So y'all be sure to get active in the comment section. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Oh,